Entire communities wiped from the map, others buried under meters of ash. People on the Spanish island of La Palma lived through a devastating volcanic eruption. Now they're trying to figure out what's next.
Y un ruido, como si fuera un monstruo. Eso fue como si fueran las películas estas americanas.
When goat farmer Julio Cesar watched the north side of the Cumbre Vieja volcano collapse last September, he knew what that meant for his home and his cheese factory.
Mira la quesería aquí y la lava ahí. La engulló, como si fuera una plastilina, la engulló.
The lava swept away his other factory and the grazing land he used for his goats. Julio Cesar and his family managed to escape unharmed.
Salí con una chola, unos pantalones cortos y una camisa. Ya no he vuelto más a entrar en mi casa. Se acabó.
The eruption spewed lava for 85 days and 8 hours and destroyed over 1,600 buildings. By the time the eruption was declared over on Christmas Day 2021, the damage to property, businesses and roads was estimated at €900 million. But local people say the economic and psychological toll is much higher than that and will be felt for years.
No es lo mismo una inundación que limpias tu casa y sigues con tu casa o la regla. No es lo mismo que un incendio, que se puede quemar la casa o incluso perder la casa, pero sigues conservando el terreno. Y en esta ocasión estamos hablando de una catástrofe absolutamente diferente.
We went to the island of La Palma to understand the true cost of one of Spain's most destructive volcanic eruptions on record. Julio Cesar and his family ran from their home last September as rocks the size of basketballs fell around them.
Los bienes materiales son bienes materiales y tengo a mis dos hijos vivos. Y a mi madre y a todos los que me importan, los tengo vivos conmigo.
Risking his own life, he went back a couple of days later to rescue his 150 goats. At first, the police wouldn't let him through.
Y le dije, mira, me da igual. Digo, los animales míos los saco yo de ahí. Entro porque entro.
He brought them here to a temporary pen a few kilometers away. Half of the herd died after the move. He thinks they caught an infection before he had time to properly clean and prepare the land. Within a couple of weeks, the slow-moving lava erased entire villages from the map. Todoque, Los Campitos, El Paraíso, now buried under up to 50 meters of rock. Miraculously, no one has died, but the eruption forced 7,000 people from their homes. Most are staying with friends and family or have left the island entirely. Hardest hit has been the banana industry, which makes up half of the island's economy. 500 families have lost their plantations under the lava, but a much larger area has been damaged by months of ashfall. From a distance, the plants look healthy, but months of falling ash has ruined much of this crop.
Vemos que en el campo lo que hay, en todas las matas, lo que hay es arena. Solo arena, arena en las hojas, arena que cae aquí, arena que está en los plátanos.
The coarse ash scratches the skin of the bananas, so even though the fruit inside is untouched, the European Union can reject them. And next season is already looking bleak, since young shoots that will provide the new generation of fruit are badly damaged.
Aquella sería la abuela, esta sería la madre y este sería el hijo. Esta mata ya debería empezar a tener su hijo. Aquí tiene uno que se ve que ese ya no sirve porque la arena lo ha quemado. Sí,
When bananas arrive at this processing factory, they now need to be cleaned more than ever before. Some are so badly damaged by ash they're only good for animal feed. Eduardo lost one small plantation, as well as his water reservoirs. Most of his extended family are cut off from their homes by these walls of lava.
Este invernadero es mío, que tiene medio cogido y medio no.
Eduardo is also president of the island's Exporters Association. He says it's likely the island will lose around a third of its annual 140 million kilos of exports.
El impacto del volcán en La Palma ha sido, no sé qué es lo que hay después de catastrófico. Muchísima gente en una condición económica muy delicada.
He says local authorities have paid out some compensation for his damaged crop. But farmers whose plantations have been buried under rock or whose greenhouses were crushed by the sheer weight of ash are still waiting to find out how much the government and insurers will offer. Some farmers are receiving unemployment payments for lost jobs that may never come back. Others are even less lucky.
Todos los demás vivimos de la agricultura, de una manera o de otra, y si no tienes un seguro autónomo no tienes seguro, y de eso hay mucho.
Banana plants can't grow on bare rock. They need fertile soil that's well irrigated. Eduardo likes the idea of blasting the lava with explosives and then covering it in soil to make farming possible again.
No nos podemos permitir el lujo que la tierra más fértil de la isla, o de la que vive el valle, pues lo dejemos así como si fuera patrimonio de la humanidad.
Major eruptions here in 1949 and 1971 both left their mark on the landscape, but not like this. The 2021 eruption has been the island's longest on record and its most destructive. The Canary Islands are all the summits of vast underwater volcanoes. It was never a question of if, but when.
Right now, we could have an activity in almost all of the islands. This means that the hot spot is still active.
Still, the impact on lives and livelihoods has stunned even the most hardened of islanders. Maria Noelia Garcia Leal grew up with stories of how her grandparents lost their house during the 1949 eruption.
¿Verdad que saldremos de esta situación porque nuestros antepasados lo hicieron y además se lo debemos también a nuestras nuevas generaciones, a nuestros niños y niñas?
As well as being mayor, Maria is also a psychologist, and for her that's where the true cost of this disaster lies.
Es verdad que no han habido daños físicos, no han habido muertes personales, pero es verdad que los daños físicos ocasionados están provocando mucho daño en las personas.
She worries about people like Silvia Rodriguez Hernández.
Yo perdí todo lo que estaba dentro de la casa. Y menos mal que estamos.
She and her husband Victor Jose can't even say for sure where the house they were renting is on a map anymore. For now, they live in a caravan outside the town of Los Llanos, like dozens of others in a similar situation.
Compré esto, me di a esta vergüenza. Hombre, yo tengo la caravana limpia, pero mojándome, entrándome ratones. Mira, que si el virus, que si esto, ¿qué viene después? ¿Qué va a venir después? ¿Qué es lo que va a venir?
Silvia has arthritis and says she suffers from inhaling the volcanic ash and trying to manage the stress.
A mí me dieron taquicardia, me dio un ataque de ansiedad, me metí mano en el pecho y digo, en esta me quedo.
For now, they receive basic payments to cover things like food and clothes and gas for their stove. People who have lost their homes entirely are entitled to an aid package of up to 60,000 euros from the government. Work is underway just next door on prefabricated homes for people who've lost theirs. But rebuilding the community may take a generation. 3 schools were swallowed by the volcano. The pupils from 2 of them are now being taught here in a temporary school in Los Llanos. But it's not just losing the buildings. Teachers and pupils fled for their lives and then watched a slow-motion disaster as the lava engulfed their homes. Now many feel they've lost part of their identity.
Para mí, la verdad que ha sido bastante traumático. Es quizás de los peores momentos que he pasado en mi vida. Ha habido momentos en que me he sentido con muchas ganas de tirar la toalla, de quedarme en mi casa, pero sé que en este momento no puedo dejarlos solos. Yo soy como el soporte para ellos.
Angelis was head teacher of Los Campitos Junior School. She says some of the pupils have become quieter since the eruption. She says they're also struggling with the transition from a rural setting to town life.
Están acostumbrados a eso, al huerto, a las gallinas, a la libertad, no son niños de ciudad.
She was a child at the time of the 1971 eruption. It lasted for 3 weeks, but did very little damage by comparison.
Pero nada que ver con esto ha sido terrible, terrible. A nivel personal se nos ha comido la alegría.
Teniendo sus colegios sepultados bajo el volcán, están reubicados y nos contagian esa esperanza y esa ilusión, y por ellos tenemos también que luchar y hacer de este territorio una zona productiva y un territorio con futuro.
The mayor would like to see families eventually rehoused as close as possible to the communities where they lived before. Some homes will slowly emerge as diggers begin to remove meters of ash, but many are gone for good. Julio Cesar certainly hasn't wasted any time in getting back on his feet. He was making cheese again just 4 days after the eruption started. He moved into this new facility, ironically built in the middle of an old lava field from the 15th century. He estimates his total losses at around €2 million. So far he's received only a quarter of that from insurance companies. He isn't sure when or if he'll see any more. But then again, he's not looking for help. He prefers to look forward.
Que él me lo comió, que es la naturaleza, me lo comió. Yo lo quiero volver a tener, lo vuelvo a hacer. Que aquello me lo arrebataste. Bueno, pues ya yo lo tengo por otro sitio con mis propias manos.
Work is well underway to recover what can be saved. But for many, the life and the livelihood they once had may never come back.